Welcome to part 15 of Dynasty Warriors 3, and this is the last wave free battle that we have to deal with. Everything else will be Wu and Xiu. So, without further ado, we can go on ahead and start the siege at He Fei Castle, not the battle, which I had to correct a few things in the description of the Battle of He Fei Castle, not the Siege of He Fei Castle, because they're practically the same stage, but they're two separate attacks. It was the first attempt by Sun Quan to take He Fei, and this is actually supposedly the fourth time they tried to take He Fei. But this will also end in failure. Well, since we're playing as Sima Yi. But originally, the fourth time, Sun Quan actually took the castle, and He Fei is pretty much there for the time being. Yeah, Cao Pi let He Fei go and tried to claim territories out in the northern areas. So, with that said, with all the soldiers we have, it may seem like an even battle, right? Well, eventually both sides will get reinforcements, so ignore what the unit info has to say. On to the introduction. Shall we?
Wu once again challenges the forces of Wei and their enjoyed prosperity. Sun Quan leads his army in preparation for the final battle. On the other side, Wei, determined to meet this threat, begins to strengthen its defenses in preparation. In 234, the Wu army surrounds the new castle at He Fei. The forces of two skilled warriors, Sima Yi and Lu Xun, prepare to face off in a battle with the fate of both countries on the line.
Another thing I would like to note about this place, unlike in later installments where there's actually castle defenses that keep the enemies at bay, or you at bay if you're trying to storm He Fei as Wu, there are no defenses here. You're practically fighting off wave after wave after wave of enemies.
Don't let the enemy near headquarters.
Sima Yi from being compromised. And that's the whole point of
until
this
reinforcements
fight.
Can attack them from behind.
It's 90 minutes, yes. You should be able to explore the palace and get whatever you need to get, like the fairy wine and the dim sum. But there is a few things that need to be addressed. Whether you stop the enemy or the events actually happen as they go, eventually all of the castle walls will open up, and it'll leave you a message saying that a certain part of the walls have fallen.
Shall we begin? On guard.
Either way, once all of these walls start opening up, you have more leeway to explore the castle. However, the Wu forces would be closer and closer towards Sima Yi, so bear that in mind. You just have to wait till all the castle walls have been opened, and wow, these guys are pretty much taking me to school! Yeah, I can't have that. Now, something that needs to be addressed. I did in the description of part, what's it? 5? Yes, part 5. Changed up the description for the weapons that needed for the warriors that were basically there, because you see there was only 2 people who needed weapons there, and unfortunately Zhu Xu was not one of them. He gets his weapon here, and that's where the confusion lies, because there are 2 versions of this battle: the Siege of He Fei and Battle of He Fei. And Siege is where Zhu Xu actually gets his ultimate weapon from. And I do believe Sun Quan gets his weapon from here too. Yeah, he does. But this actually is a harder version of He Fei, because hold on a second.
I'm too young to die. Oh.
Now, as I was saying, this is harder because this is a last stage for Sun Quan, and would also be a last stage, if not second to last stage, for Zhu Shu. So that means the enemies are going to be harder, and their prerequisites would be tougher too. So bear that in mind. Anyway, cutscene.
An enemy force has appeared to the rear. So they've come. Destroy them all.
And just like that, enemy reinforcements has arrived. And now you have the inclusion of Lu Meng, who just appeared in front of me. You also have the inclusion of Zhuge Jin and I think Zhen Ji. Not to be confused with Cao Pi's wife. Somebody else with the same name, that's it. But these guys will start showing up, and primarily it's you just taking these officers down and trying to stop them from gaining any traction, or more importantly, overwhelming the castle, because all of them will try to make a beeline straight for Sima Yi. And there is Sun Xiao. I think he was another officer that just appeared in that reinforcements group. But I know Sun Shang was one of the officers that was supposedly with Sun Quan, or I think she was her own officer, my bad. But whatever the case, now that there's reinforcements,
I defeated an officer.
we need to make sure that we chop down their numbers, and once we drop them down to the last bit of reinforcements, then, and only then, we go after Sun Quan. And, of course, you will see, like, morale dropping from your allies because of the fact that they're being overwhelmed by different armies. And when the armies join together, in this game, it was pretty much an annoying thing to happen, especially in 2.
I will destroy you if it's the last thing I do.
As I was saying, when an army joins together, it's arguably going to be a tough battle because the army will start gaining morale. Something I forgot to mention in Dynasty Warriors 2, and something I should have mentioned here. And this will more than likely be a common thing in this stage, due to the fact that it was indeed an ambush. And of course, someone's forces is in trouble. They're standing right in the same facility as I am, and yet they're in trouble.
They look strong.
But there's one thing to bear in mind, though. All the enemy officers that's coming after you. Hold on.
My lord, I must leave you now. Long live Wu.
Those officers, again, will be beelining from where their last position was all the way to Sima Yi. Of course, your bodyguards will tell you to rejoin the fight eventually.
Fight harder!
We're gonna have to try to cut down as much enemies as humanly possible, because let's face it, the less people that comes near Sima Yi, the better. And the more Sima Yi raises his morale, the more that he'll lead an all-out attack. There's only a limited amount of people here, by the way. So bear that in mind when you call yourself trying to be Leroy Jenkins and start slashing enemies left and right. Because everybody on your team starts off with a low morale due to the fact that the palace is surrounded. And as I said, no matter what you do, whether the Wu forces actually manage to find their way in, or you actually defeat many of the Wu officers, the doors are going to open to where you'll be able to have access to the entirety of the stage. And you have 90 minutes to do whatever you need to do.
Don't underestimate me because I'm a woman.
And what I mean by 90 minutes to do whatever you need to do, like if you're trying to get some weapons, or trying to get dim sum or fairy wine or items that may happen to be here. Damn, I forgot about her and her damn chakrams. But anyway, as I was saying, you're trying to get weapons and items. Once all the doors are unlocked, then you'll be able to reach them. But a thing that needs to be said, one of the fairy wine just so happens to be on Sun Quan's ship. So we won't be able to like get out of the castle like talking about it until reinforcements for Wei come, because the castle would be blocked up. Or more importantly, you won't be able to get the hold on just a second, because she just died.
I do not want to die. Oh, not yet.
You would probably have to wait until Wu somehow opens the door, even though you're winning or losing, to explore the entirety of the area. And the way out of this palace is going to be the last door that opens. And that won't happen until either A, Sima Yi is about to be overwhelmed, or B, we are practically winning the fight. Now, bear in mind we have to go and get Gan Ning. He must be defeated. Gan Ning is way over there, and I think I'm going to have to deal with him soon. Then there's Zenji and Zhuge Jin, and the only one left out of all of them would be Sun Quan. But yes, there are a lot of officers here on their side, and only a minuscule amount on ours. Because some of those officers are basically lieutenants that's watching over Sima Yi and not making a move unless the castle walls finally fall, leaving like a handful of people to defend a whole goddamn army. I mean, I'm not complaining, that's what Dynasty Warriors is about. But still, this is one of those moments where you just gotta realize, hey, I should be at a higher level for this. There's no way in hell I'm gonna win this as I am.
It can't be!
Good. We still have manpower.
And surprise! Wei reinforcements has arrived. And now that Wei's reinforcements has arrived, Sima Yi is about to lead the charge. Since we took out all but a couple of officers, now all the gates are open. And that means many cutscenes of the gates being open and quote-unquote falling. Even though we're on the winning side and we chop down most of the reinforcements. Oh well. Here is Zenji, you just gotta kill this guy, and that'll be no problem. And I do believe
an officer
in this pack, I'm not sure. I mean, aside from Zhu Zhu and Sun Quan, those are the only two people that should have weapons here. I think one of the other two characters that were only one-time playable characters in the Dynasty Warrior games, save for Dynasty Warriors Dynasty Warriors Strike Force and Warriors Orochi. I think Fushi, that's what his name is. I think Fushi has one here. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. Because I honestly never played with the guy, to be honest. I mean, I have unlocked him before, but I never played with him. And he may be a beast, but I just never played with the guy. Nor knew why either. But their weapons ends up being the staple of created character weapons in Dynasty Warriors 4 Extreme Legends, 4 Empires, and Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires. Because in 5 Extreme Legends, you don't get to use edit character weapons. Just saying. So all that's left now is to find Gan Ning, who is actually trying to find me.
Boy, are you unlucky, running into me like this.
Yeah, Gan Ning was looking for us because he was actually one of the officers that brought about the reinforcements. So we would have to actually kill Gan Ning as quickly as humanly possible before he starts his bullshit of trapping me in the corner with his Musou, which if you knock him down low enough, he'll get.
I'm really messed up today.
Now all that's left is to deal with the remaining fodder, and I am getting a lot of buffs in defense and offense, which is good, because having buffs in defense and offense is going to definitely help me out through the later missions of the game, especially the non-min territories. Oh, I hate the non-min territories in this game, and I'll cross that bridge in the finale. Trust me, I will. But for right now, we have other things to worry about. Like, for instance, Zhuge Jian, who just made his way into the castle. Huh. I honestly thought that was actually fairy wine, but never mind. As far as for the rest of this is concerned, you're just basically taking out as much enemies as humanly possible, so then it'll be just a straight beeline to Sun Quan, sorry, because the officers of your camp will try to make a beeline to Sun Quan once every single officer from Wei has been defeated. Like, for instance, Zhuge Jian. Honestly, they need to make him a character. But
don't lag behind.
I think that'll happen, and then again, I think not. I don't know. I'll worry about it when they actually reveal characters for this new game, Dynasty Warriors 9. Well, reveal more characters, if they are. I mean, they've already revealed a new one, and I'll talk about that in a later video. Hopefully not before the game shows up. Come on, I may be late and inconsistent, but not that late. Now, primarily for the rest of this stage, you are fighting a downhill battle, where this ship, ladies and gentlemen, that you cannot bring your horse on for some inexplicable reason, which you could... Here's the thing. I'm sorry I'm stuttering there, but, you could bring your horse on Chur B, anywhere on Chur B. This stage, you can't. Why? And oh god, there is slowdown. Can't really help that now, can I? But on this ship, this would be the ship where... I mean, it's not this ship particular, but I think it was a ship that... The ship next to Sunsei, that's what it was. On that ship in particular, you could find the fairy wine for your Musou. And I think in the camp where Sima Yi is where you find the dim sum. Either way, I will have their actual locations if I'm actually not correct. But if I am correct, obviously it's going to be in the description anyway. But for the most part, taking down the the gate captains in this stage is going to help you a lot, especially since Sun Quan has a lot of morale on his side, obviously because he's the commander. I mean, yeah, I also have high defense, but that's not going to account for anything, especially when I have to run into Sun Quan. And now, here's another thing that needs to be addressed. You can't bring your horse on this ship. Yet, he can.
Fight like my father and brother.
Yeah, that is an aggravating thing in Dynasty Warriors 3. But it's definitely an aggravating thing in Dynasty Warriors 4. At least a couple of stages did have that. But after 4, 5 didn't have it, and neither did Dynasty Warriors 6. But 6 Special, for some reason, had the ability to limit you from going to certain places on your horse. They brought that back in Dynasty Warriors 6 Special, yet for some reason, no, not for some reason, yet they took it out in Dynasty Warriors 4 Extreme Legends and in Dynasty Warriors 5, because the original 4, there were certain stages. Oh yeah, by the way, he also fires charged beam attacks. And I lost a bodyguard! Yeah, fuck you, guy. You just killed, what, 9 bodyguards between a couple of parts I fought you? Because I did fight you in part 13, if not part 14. But you still murdered my bodyguards, and you're a bastard for that. But, as I was saying, for some reason 6 Special had made it to where certain stages you couldn't bring your horse onto the platform, even though there was a horse call button on the damn controller.
Father, brother, for the glory of our family.
And I only brought that up because this game is what started it, and sadly 6 and 6 Special brought back old school stuff. Granted, they brought back innovative stuff, they brought back old school stuff, and it's baffling, it really is. Yeah, I actually missed out on a lot of things, but for the most part, at least I've beaten Siege of He Fei. Now I can start focusing on the Wu missions. In the next part, we're going to do the Assault of Liu Biao. This is RVMan985. See you guys next time, and Sun Jian, word of advice: look up and dodge.